Alright, it is Messy Gaming coming back at you with another video. Today we are football fans, so we are going to be going over all the NFL starting quarterbacks, or as some now are, backups. But backups can be seen as just as good as some starters. Depends on what you believe. Like just a couple years ago, people were arguing if Nick Foles was better than Carson Wentz. It doesn't matter. Yes, Eli Manning is retired, so we're not going to do him. Players that are retired, we're not going to do. We're just going to leave them. I think Eli Manning's the only one on this list that is retired. So, Andrew Luck, yeah, he's also retired. So we're going to go ahead and start off and just go from left to right. If you guys could see here, this is pretty much how this is going to go. Is decent means they're not going to they're not going to get you to a Super Bowl, but they could possibly get you some wins. Average, I mean, they're going to get you in the race. They're not really a game changer. Above average, they're going to get you to the playoffs, but they're probably going to choke, or they're going to have to be carried by the rest of their team. And then elite is your guys that are game changers, and they're just going to be the best of the rest. There's nobody in their category, and there's very few people in this elite category. So, starting off, I want to go off with bust. People who we think is going to be bust. I believe Derek Carr is an absolute bust. He has had one good year. Unfortunately, he's been plagued by injuries just like his brother. But he's really struggling with getting back to that MVP form. All right, I had to switch the screen there. So, next, who do you guys think is pretty much a bust in this league?
Andy Dalton.
Sam Darnold?
I'd give... Sam Darnold's kind of tough. He's so young that it's hard to tell.
Yeah.
So we'll go ahead and just... You guys want to go bust or you want to go decent? So I'm definitely thinking more on the lines of decent. I want to give him decent simply because it's so early to tell.
Yeah.
And you could almost make a row that says too early to tell. But I feel like we should give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, up to this point, he's been terrible. I mean, seeing ghosts and everything. So, I mean, you don't know what to do here. So, next, another bust.
Andy Dalton's what I would go with.
Andy Dalton's actually done pretty well. It's just that he's been on a pretty bad team.
And he's been in the playoffs like 3 times?
3 or 4 times. I think Case Keenum.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that one good year with the Vikings, and that was about it.
Yeah, you got the miracle year with the Vikings, but he got paid, and now he's just stinking everything up in Washington and now in Denver. It's a dumpster fire. I wish him the best of luck, but he got way overpaid.
Baker Mayfield would be a hard one.
I think Baker Mayfield would be decent. We've seen his potential of what he can do, but I feel like the problem is there's too many head cases in that locker room, him being one of them, to be able to really function. I mean, what would you consider Odell or Baker?
Drama.
Just drama. I mean, that's all they really are. That's all they really do. So that's kind of tough to go with. So next, I'm thinking for bust. Oh yeah, Joe Flacco.
He had that one good year with the Ravens.
I want to say he's a bust though because he took him to a playoffs. And yeah, he's old, but he's not. He's going down. But that one year, whenever he did.
Yes, but if you were to take a quarterback right now, who would you want? That's kind of what we're basing this off of. Is right now, not necessarily even for the future, just right now. If you had them for this year, or what would you rate them for how their career is going right now? He's a bust. I mean, he can't do anything right now. I mean, maybe he fixes his game, but John Elway just keeps getting these old guys who can't play. Mm-hmm. So, go ahead and go on to the next one. Bust.
He had the most passing yards as QB and most passing touchdowns.
He also had 30 picks. So I think you could put him at decent.
I think if
he could very well be the successor to the throne for Drew Brees, but as far as Jameis Winston goes, he's such a question mark. The guy can pass for 400 yards a game, but throw 5 interceptions and lose you a game. You're not supposed to lose when you throw for 400 yards.
If he could learn from Drew Brees and learn not to throw as many picks a year, I think he could be a playoff quarterback.
So going on next, we'll just go ahead and I'll just pick a random guy and we can debate it. Marcus Mariota.
Average. because he can run, he can throw. I would put him at average because he got them to a playoffs a couple years and he got them some playoff wins.
Yes, but here recently he's really, I don't know why, but Ryan Tannehill's kind of taken over, and actually that's one guy I do not see on this list.
Yeah.
But yeah, Ryan Tannehill would be on the same tier. I feel like they're dealing with two average quarterbacks right now, which is what kind of sucks for them. And if they had an elite guy to put right there with Derrick Henry, that could really be something special they have going in Tennessee. So next, we're going to go ahead and let's go with the big question mark. Let's go with Dak Prescott.
Oh boy.
Average.
Where is he? Is he average? Is he above average?
He could be a little bit of everything because, like, some years he's above average, some years he's average. But I would say this year he was...
It's hard. I think this year is definitely getting them with the money on the line, with all the weapons he now has. I mean, now you cannot say he doesn't have enough weapons. That excuse has gone right out the window. And he's just... We're going to figure it out. I mean, he's mobile. He makes good throws most of the time. He does struggle, I believe, with down the field passes a little bit. And he seems to be selective on who he throws to. I mean, he just seems to throw to one guy.
He could be inconsistent sometimes. Sometimes he'll be good in one game, another game he'll be complete trash.
So let's go ahead and go with Josh Rosen. I feel like he's a bust. I mean, It sucks. I did not want to see him drafted by the Cardinals. I felt that was a horrible move. I wanted to see him actually go to the Giants. I felt like that was a better system. I felt like he was the successor to Eli Manning. Instead, they got Daniel Jones. But I feel like Josh Rosen was more of what they wanted, but now it's a big question mark. Could he go to the Patriots, and could Belichick move him into something? But right now he's stuck in Miami. He's just going to fall apart in Miami. His career's going to go nowhere there, let's be honest. So next, let's go ahead and go with Mitchell Trubisky. Bust. I can't stand him.
Yeah.
He can't make good throws. He is mobile. I felt that he was a dumb pick when he was drafted. And I would have, as a Chiefs fan, I would tell you that if I would have saw Patrick Mahomes becoming what he was going to become, I'd be lying to you. I felt like he was a good quarterback. I felt like he had a big arm, but I felt like he had the Brett Favre syndrome where he threw too many picks. But that's kind of turned out to be more Mitchell Trubisky than has been Patrick Mahomes. I mean, he doesn't make good throws. He's so inaccurate. He throws a lot of picks. He stunts that team. I mean, that defense almost carried them. That could have carried them to a playoffs or through to the Super Bowl, but he couldn't get anything done. And now you look at this last year, he's just, I don't know, he's just been terrible in my eyes. So next, gonna go ahead and go on to, let's go Kirk Cousins. I feel like he is the most average quarterback you can get.
Yeah.
I mean, he is the definition of average.
He's inconsistent sometimes in some games. He could be really good one game, really bad one game.
His consistency.
Eagles, Chiefs.
His consistency just goes up and down and up and down and up, and he can't sustain anything. And I love it how the Eagles linebacker called him out, and then he just came up and teared him apart, and then that guy actually got released. I think it was Zach Brown. I think it was Zach Brown. Yeah,
got released right after the game.
That was hilarious.
4 passing touchdowns.
He has to really work on his craft, and he has weapons. I mean, he's had weapons, but he just can't distribute the ball all that well. He's a good passer. He's a good game manager, but as far as just eliteness, he doesn't have that quality to him. Up next, we're gonna go ahead and go with. Let's go. Okay, Drew Brees. I feel like he's in that above average. The reason why I wouldn't put him in that elite category is I feel like his down the field throwing isn't quite what it used to be. I know it's kind of weird to see Dak Prescott, and I'll actually move Dak Prescott down.
Yeah.
Because you cannot put him and Drew Brees in the same category.
No,
That just is not right. But Drew Brees is. He's on the tail end of his career for sure. This is probably going to be his last year, if not his second to last year. And his strength, his throw power is just not what it used to be, but he's still an elite passer.
Doesn't he have the best accuracy in the NFL for throw?
He's really accurate.
He can put it in the breadbasket. That's what he's always been known for. But as far as just
throwing it downfield,
he doesn't have it quite yet. Now, Kyler Murray.
I'd put him in the average because he's too young to tell if he's going to be above average or elite. But he did really good at the Cardinals for what he had. No offensive line.
Absolutely, he definitely changed games. His mobility definitely comes into a factor. He is a tad bit short, but so is Drew Brees, so it doesn't really matter about height anymore. I feel like the only thing I want to see about... Oh, my God. The only thing I want to see about Kyler Murray is that what is he going to do with Diop? I feel like this year is... I mean, a lot of people are looking at this like Super Bowl or bust, and I don't understand why. I mean, the Cardinals aren't at a Super Bowl level yet.
No,
I mean,
still need to work on offensive line.
Yeah, they need to work on a lot of things. I mean, on defense, you got Patrick Peterson and Chandler Jones, and that's right about it. I mean, you're not working with too much else. So next we're going to go on to Matthew Stafford. I feel like he is another quarterback that is average. He's another one like Kirk Cousins where he's just up and down and up and down and up and down.
Injury prone.
He's injury prone a little bit. That's kind of unfortunate because he does play through the pain. He plays just like everyone wants people to play. He plays through those injuries, but sometimes it's just too much. And I feel like he is just like Kirk Cousins in that way. Go ahead.
I really respect him because he won a game with a separated shoulder. I mean...
But we're still looking at this as of right now.
Yeah.
So next, let's go ahead and go on to the big question, especially looking at it from the Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo. I'm giving him a decent.
Yeah,
it's either decent or average. What would you guys say?
I would give him decent because...
He's kind of in between.
Yeah, because whatever he was behind Tom Brady for a couple years. But he's never going to live up to Tom Brady as of right now because on his way to the Super Bowl, let's say, what was it, the championship game where he only threw like a couple passes in the whole game?
He only threw like 6 passes.
I feel like you can't entrust him to win a game. The real thing that this all breaks down to is if you had to throw the ball almost the entire game or go off the decision-making of the quarterback, would you trust them to win a game? I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo is not that guy. I mean, he doesn't make those big-time throws. I mean, in the Super Bowl, yes, he had that one to, what's the tight end? George Kittle at the end of the first half. And if that's not a pass interference, that very well changes the game. That was a beautiful throw. But he doesn't make those throws consistently. He constantly is missing that easy 15-yard completion, that first down pickup. I don't know, he's just always trying to take the lesser instead of the more. And I feel like sometimes you need to be a little bit more risky. So that's just kind of where I'm going with him. Next is we're going to go ahead and do the up-in-the-air quarterback, who is Cam Newton. Still in free agency as of right now, as of when we're making this video. I'd say above average.
Yeah.
His playmaking ability is really good. His throw power, he is a kind of a cancer in the locker room. He says dumb stuff. But as far as him being at a quarterback, excluding the off-the-field problems, he's a good quarterback. I mean, we've seen him at NFL, like, top tier. Mm-hmm. But as of recently, he's just injuries. But, I mean, he's 6'5". He's a load. He can run a person over. He can throw a ball well. It's just that, can he lead a team off of his arm?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question.
So next, we're going to go ahead and look at Nick Foles, who just got traded to Chicago Bears, but did play with the Jacksonville Jaguars. I feel like he is between bust and decent. I'd probably say bust.
I think he was only good with the Eagles.
I feel like, yeah, he had that backup role, and when you don't have all that film on someone and to get their tendencies, it's hard to prepare for them. That's why you see rookies jumping out and just having insane years, and then their sophomore slumps. It's because teams have built up film. They now can study you. They know your every move.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the same thing with Nick Foles. You finally get something picking up. I mean, you can, if you disagree with that, you could put him in decent, but I don't think you could put him in average. I don't think he's there. Let's go ahead and move on to Phillip Rivers. Phillip Rivers, I feel like, is decent, in my opinion.
He used to be better, but he's kind of downgraded.
His decision-making has gone
way down
because during whenever he played the Chiefs game, what was it, like 4 picks or something?
And the thing is, I don't know if it's just me, but I've been watching him throw. He's throwing ducks. I mean, he's not throwing good passes. I mean, that sidearm thing, it's worked for him in the past. It's not working for him anymore. That arm's starting to go out on him, and that little sidearm ugly throw isn't working anymore. And that's what you have when you have people that throw at weird angles. We'll have a guy that throws at weird angles later, but it's just, I feel like he's on a decline. He is with the Colts now, and we'll see what he goes through. But as far as that, nah. So next, we'll go ahead and move on let's go ahead and do Tom Brady. I feel like Tom Brady is still above average.
I would give him an elite because his decision making at how old he is. Like, I don't like Tom Brady, but everyone that's not with the Patriots doesn't like him.
But now he's with the Bucks, and he has an insane amount of weapons. So
I would give him elite only because his decision making is still good. He can still throw good passes, but he can't throw as deep as he used to.
So I think above average is about perfect because, I mean, it's still, if it's a one-drive game, you have to end the drive with this guy. Oh, yeah, he's still elite. He still can pick people apart. That one drive, he's so good at it. So if it's end-game situation, oh, yeah, he's elite. But as far as an entire game, I feel like he has had a steady decline in the past few years, even though he has done pretty decent. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, which is Russell Wilson. I think we can all agree he's elite. I don't think you can really make a statement that he's not. That man has carried a team that has no offensive line for a few years. He's been running for his life, and he's just a monster. That throw that he made to Tyler Lockett, oh my goodness, that's just elite. There's nothing else to explain that. And I feel like his conferences or his division starting to become a lot harder.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like it's almost getting harder and easier at the same time. You have one team rising in the Cardinals, but you have a LA Rams team that's declining.
Yeah.
So it's going to get very interesting in that division. So next, we're going to go ahead and move on to, let's go Ben Roethlisberger. So he was out last year, but Ben Roethlisberger, I feel like is still above average.
Yeah.
He does make good throws. He's like Cam Newton, except older. He isn't as mobile as he used to be, but he does make the good throw. He does have good decision making. He can still get it down the field with his size. And I feel like it's still kind of a question mark whether or not he's elite still, but I feel like he's definitely still holds his place in the above average. Next, let's go the new addition to the Dallas Cowboys, Andy Dalton.
He got his money before Dak Prescott.
I would give him decent because he can throw, but he doesn't have as much weapons.
He brought the Bengals to the playoffs a few times. I'd give him a decent.
It's going to be fun to watch him in Dallas because now he has weapons. He has Amari Cooper. He has CeeDee Lamb.
But the thing is, will he play? Because Dak Prescott's the man there.
Well, what if they paid Andy Dalton, but have they paid Dak yet?
If Dak Prescott doesn't take a pay cut this next year,
I feel like they're gonna cut him.
They're not gonna cut him. But if Dak Prescott holds out and it comes to Andy Dalton, this could be very interesting. I mean, they could just move on from Dak Prescott and go Andy Dalton. I mean, Jerry Jones doesn't care.
I feel like Andy Dalton could be a really good quarterback with a good team.
I mean, because all he's had is AJ Green, and when you have a team with just one guy, it's easy to just double team him and neutralize him. And also, he's had a little bit of injury issues. He's had some other problems.
Yeah.
So next, let's go Matty Ice.
He's declined over the years, but I still consider him a good quarterback.
He's an MVP. He was an MVP quarterback. He was a Super Bowl quarterback, but now he's just.
I feel like when you have Julio and you aren't a top tier quarterback, and with all the extra weapons. Yes, he does put up some good stats. I just feel like the production isn't quite there. The win category isn't quite there. You should not be winning what? They won 5-6 games, if that. I mean, you should not be having that many with the weapons that you got. Now, I know they had injury problems, especially on the defensive side of the ball, and they did just lose a little bit on defense. I know they lost Trufant on offense. I believe they lost somebody on offense. But next, we're going to go ahead and go on to Josh Allen.
I think he's a decent, average-ish.
So, with Josh Allen, it's kind of difficult because, yes, he did just lead his team to the playoffs, and it is the Bills. That team's looking pretty solid. For what they are, they're looking fairly solid. I'm not going to lie. So, and with this new Bills team, they did acquire somebody. You want to go ahead and talk about that?
They acquired Stephon Diggs, which I consider Stephon Diggs not top 5 receiver, like maybe top
15.
15-ish.
15. You could definitely make arguments of where he is. Again, a little bit of a head case. But then again, he's just solid.
He's a deep receiver. He goes deep down the field, and you can trust him.
And he's going to catch that ball. So next, we're going to go on to Carson Wentz. Where do you put Carson Wentz at? I mean, he's injury prone, yes, but as his play, does his play make up for his injury issues? Or does
he always gets injured in the playoffs.
He doesn't come in clutch during the playoffs.
I feel like if he's when he's not injured, I mean he's on an above average to not really elite, but he's an above average. But with all the injuries, it's tough. I mean, yes, they almost went to 2 Super Bowls, winning a Super Bowl without him. I mean, it's really hard to really put him at above average or elite, especially elite. But like you could make a case for above average. Yeah. But the biggest thing about producing is actually being on the field. Yeah. You got to be on the field in order to produce, and he just hasn't been there. So next we're gonna go ahead and go on to Aaron Rodgers. What happened? Okay, Aaron Rodgers, elite. I know some people who are definitely like the one here is a Vikings fan. He's probably not gonna want to agree with this, but it is Aaron Rodgers. I mean, it's still. It's Aaron Rodgers when you break it down. That's just how it is.
Yeah. Jordan Love's situation is going to be interesting.
Oh, yeah. That's going to be very interesting because I think Aaron Rodgers at first complained about Brett Favre not really taking him under his wing. And that's not his job. I mean, that's going to be Aaron Rodgers' job, too. I mean, his job is to make his money and produce wins and win Super Bowls. That's his job. His job is not to make Jordan Love better than he is so he can take his job. That's not what he's there for.
He's doing the exact same thing. Jordan Love is practically Aaron Rodgers when Brett Favre was playing.
I think what people are forgetting about the situation is Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 2 years. That could be the same thing here. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is 36, and at 38, you never know. They're doing a good insurance plan just in case Aaron Rodgers does not pan out within the next few years, especially with that contract. Yeah. Next, we're going to go ahead and go on to Jared Goff.
I would give him average.
This year, he had a decent year.
He really declined this year. I'm really interested to see what happens, especially since they lost Gurley. They lost Cooks. They're having such a problem with the cap that is him at that contract, is it worth it? Yeah. I feel like he's that same thing as Kirk Cousins, especially what we've seen. I mean, yes, when you have all the weapons in the world, you should do good. You're an NFL quarterback. But when you don't have those weapons available to you all the time, do you produce the same?
Even when you had Cooper Kupp back this year, he's like...
So let's go ahead and move on to Deshaun Watson.
That's going to be interesting. I don't want to put him elite yet. I'll put him in above average.
This is definitely going to be a very controversial one. He's in the in-between stage. The one thing I really have to knock off on Deshaun Watson is that when he starts to scramble, he forgets he still has guys that he can pass to. When he starts to scramble, it's over. He's pretty much running or getting sacked. I mean, yes, he made that incredible throw when he got kicked in the face and everything, but normally he starts to panic. He has that panic button and he hits it way too fast.
He has a playmaking ability.
Oh, 100%.
Because in the playoffs, against the Bills, on that one that he got out of a tackle from 2 D-line.
Oh yeah, when he broke between them, he made one hit the other and just ran out and threw it downfield.
That was a really good play.
So next we're gonna move on to the guy that I feel like is the younger and more upgraded version of Deshaun Watson.
Elite. Yeah.
The reigning Super Bowl MVP, Lamar Jackson.
Super Bowl. He's not Super Bowl MVP.
No, regular season MVP. Yeah, Super Bowl MVP's right here. But Lamar Jackson, that speed, I mean, he's just like Michael Vick, but right-handed. He's insane. He's just shook so many people. And I found it funny. I mean, that one reporter said because his arms were so dark is the reason why people couldn't find the ball. And then the next game he wore white sleeves and still broke people's ankles and still put up over 100 rushing yards. That's a statement. That's what makes people elite, is when they can shut people up. When they can put their money where their mouth is. And his teammates love him. They all trust in him. Yes, I would like to see more of him in the playoffs.
He's a team player.
But then again, he's like, what, 22?
Yeah.
I mean, you can't judge him for the rest of his career off of what he's done in the playoffs for the last 2 years. I mean, that's tough.
Joe Burrow's older than Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, and that's the terrifying part. I mean, he still has so much to go. The only thing I'm worried about with Lamar Jackson is injury. You know, that hit he took it against the Jets, I thought he was done.
I don't want him to end like RG3.
No, that would be horrible. And he's on the same team as RG3, so hopefully RG3's like, hey, slide.
Yeah.
You want to slide. You're not going to last. Trust me, I know this firsthand.
Yeah, the only thing is with Lamar Jackson is in the playoffs, a lot of people were calling him a running back. That's the big thing about Lamar Jackson, and he tried to throw a lot more than he did in the season that got him MVP.
And I feel like that's the thing that some teams were struggling with, especially like Tennessee, San Francisco, Baltimore. They went away from what got them there.
Yeah.
There's a reason why you made it to the playoffs. If you're a running team like Baltimore, stop throwing the ball. Like in the Super Bowl, the 49ers had the Chiefs. If they run the ball the rest of that second half, we might be talking about a different NFL champion.
Yeah.
But they started throwing the ball. And it's just like, why are you going away from what you had? I mean, you got to the Super Bowl. You got to the playoffs because of this style. And you're just going to abandon it simply because you start to panic a little bit?
Like, when I saw them start passing more than running, I was like, they're going to choke now.
Yeah, you can't do that. Okay, and the next is, my opinion, the best player in NFL, Patrick Mahomes. Call me biased because I'm a Chiefs fan, but I can have the numbers to back it up. And he's only been a starting quarterback for 2 years, and he's already achieved more than pretty much anybody else has ever have.
Yeah.
And, I mean, he already has a Super Bowl ring. He's already, when you talk about greatness, you always want to talk about that Super Bowl ring. Aside for, like, Dan Marino, you always are talking about, you can't be the GOAT unless you got the ring.
Yeah.
Unless you got multiple rings. And I feel like with the team that they're building around, we could see a dynasty coming here.
Unless someone messes up and it falls apart, they got a dynasty.
Yeah,
coming.
they got something made. I mean, nothing stupid. Nobody needs to get in trouble. He needs to stay healthy. I mean, the man won a Super Bowl coming back from a dislocated kneecap.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think. There for the few weeks in the regular season, he either wasn't playing or simply wasn't himself. I mean, yes, he came back healthy, but he wasn't 100%.
The thing about Mahomes is last year he had 50 touchdowns. I forgot his yards. He was like
5,000, above 5,000.
Yeah, I was thinking that. But last year he took those deep shots because the teams didn't know what he could do. They were so used to Alex Smith taking the short throws. So he had 50 touchdowns, yeah, but this year people would say that he has gone down in touchdowns and yards, and I think the reason why he went down is because he's taking those smarter throws, and that's what got him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and exactly, because he's progressing. Even though his numbers are lower because one, he dislocated his kneecap and was out a couple of weeks. So yes, I mean, when you miss 2-3 games, yeah, your numbers are gonna probably drop unless you are absolutely insane. Okay, so yeah, we're not gonna worry about Andrew Luck and Eli Manning because they are retired. So thanks for watching, guys. If you guys want to see more videos of this or have any comments about disagreements of who we placed where, go ahead and leave them down in the comments below. Thanks for watching, guys, and peace out.